Hey guys, welcome to the camera tutorial. I'm Martin from TradeSkillBasket.com, and I thought it's the best way to go right into animations with Cinema 4D. So yeah, let's jump right into it. I have as you can see already, the text from the last tutorial, the welcome text. I have changed nothing, so we can just make a basic animation with the camera. So the first thing we need to talk about is the keyframes. For each object you want to have a movement, you need to add keyframes. So the object knows to go from this point to the other point. So we can just quick demonstrate it if we add just a cube and we say, all right, you stay from the beginning in the middle of the camera. You just need to choose it in the object list and push the key button there. So the first keyframe is set. Then we move to, let's say, 25 frames. When you want to render a video with 25 frames per second, this means 25 frames, so 1 second of video. Alright, so we go to 25 and we say, alright, this cube should go up within 1 second. So we hit again the add keyframe button, and when you go back now, you have already movement. The key is the cube is moving. So we can delete it now. So the most important thing is the camera. You need the camera to have some animations. I would just say we add now a camera, and I will show you how to work with it. So we go there. You see there are a lot of cameras. We will go through each one. So let's just add a normal camera now. If you want to because at the moment you are still in the editor camera, but you want to see your animation from the camera. So choose the camera here in the object list, and on the right you see a small rectangle here, and you just click it, and now you have the view of your camera. So when you move it now around, you can already animate it from here to here, whatever. You just need to hit the keyframes again. So let's go into the options of the camera. You have here the focal length it's maybe you know it as lens. So if you hit now, so this is the lens, which how many millimeters lens you want to have. So when you change this now to, let's say, 50, you already zoomed a little bit in. I will show you, maybe it's better to show you another project that I'm working on at the moment. When you go to your camera, and let's say you choose 50, you're like zooming in, all right? And as smaller you go with the millimeters, as closer you get this typical fisheye look. So that means, let's say we type in 15, sorry. So now you have a really right angle, and if you move the camera now, you see that it's a little bit like a fisheye. All right, so we can even lower it to demonstrate it better. Let's say we make it 8 millimeters. So now you see it looks pretty big, and this is the typical fisheye look. You know now something about lenses, and we can jump to our back to our project here. And yeah, so there are many ways to animate the camera. So you can just go now with the 3 buttons at the top preview window now, and let's say we want to animate the camera from here, and we want to move it here. And we need firstly to go to the frame. Let's say we go to 50, and we go to the other side and hit the keyframe. So now we have a movement, but as you can see, it's not a circle movement. It's just moving from left to right, like this. The problem is, because you told the program to move from this position to this position, but it don't know that you want to have something like a circle movement. So what you can do is you go to the half. Let's say like we have now an animation for 2 seconds, 50 frames, and you go to 25 and zoom a little bit out like this, and you hit again the keyframe. Now you see it, so it goes more around. When you go to the top view, so here's our text and this is the camera, you see here the spline, the animation, the path the camera is going through. So you see it here, the camera is moving and da 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 da. So, and this is the next point I want to talk about. Splines. It's way easier to create splines and to apply the camera on it. So you can already, let's say, draw a spline and say and tell the camera, all right, you move on this spline I made now. So let's just do it. Let's just create a new camera. Sorry, we need to switch to the perspective mode again. Go back to our text and create a camera. So let's say we want to say the camera, I want to have a nice rounding up animation. Let's say we create a new spline. Let's make a circle. So this will be the path where the camera will go. So firstly we need to rotate the circle. We can do it like this. We click on the rotate tool and we can just rotate it. Or we can say in the circle options, the plane should change to a different angle, different position from X and Z. All right. So now it's flat. We can move it around here. Let's say here. So in here, so it's in the middle of our text. And we can change the radius now here. When you click on the circle, like this, and you have here the radius, and you can just move or expand the radius. So let's say we will leave it like this. So we have a nice circle around our text. Now, how to apply the camera on the circle? It's pretty easy. You just click one time the camera, right click, go to Cinema 4D tags, and go to Align to Spline. So now you have a small tag here, and you have here, you can choose the spline path. So you can apply the camera to a path. So we can just drag and drop the circle here, and you see already the camera is jumping on the circle. So if you want to move now the camera, it's not working because it's locked on the spline. So what we can do to move the camera is we go again to our tag, and here you have a small option. It says position. So here, and if you hire the person, you can already rotate. So here's the first animation. So let's say we want to have an animation from the left side of the text, and let's say 50%. Yeah, no, a little bit higher. 53. So when you hit now the keyframe and go to 25 and change the value to here, and you hit again to get the keyframe, it will not change because you need to animate this position here, and this is not working with the normal hit the key button. So what we can do is I push now Control Z again. So what we can do now is we say, all right, 53% on the first frame, and now you can right-click the position, animation, and add keyframe, or you can just push Control and hit with the mouse button the position. And you see here already we have a red circle. We go to 50%, and we say, all right, we go to 97%. and we hit again the position key button. I would choose now with Control and mouse button. There we go. And there we go. We have our animation. The problem is now the camera is not looking at the text. You see here, when we see here the camera, this is the view of the camera, right? So when we look at the animation, the camera is not looking all the time on the text. It starts here and it ends here, and then we are out of shape. So looking at the camera view, let's say we start animation. Oh, okay, it's pretty fast, but you don't see the welcome text all the time. Maybe you want to use it, but you can. But the big problem is now you can't animate the camera as we tried it already. So if I want to rotate it, it's not working, because it's working, but it's not like you need to add more keyframes. So that means like we would need to add here a keyframe, go to 50 and rotate it here and add a keyframe again, and now we have all the time the welcome text in focus. But there is a way easier way to do it. We can go again to camera and go to Cinema 4D text and choose target. And here we can drag and drop a target object. So that means we choose our text. We drag and drop our text on the target expression tag. So let's say here we drag it down to this field, target object. And now when we look again at the animation, the camera is all the time looking at the target. Wherever it moves, you look at the camera, you look at the text all the time. So let's see it from the camera view. There we go. Perfect. So what we can do now is we can, let's say, move the circle up. So we need nothing to animate anymore, because it will stay there. And let's say we want to have a movement from here. So I took the circle a little bit up, hit the keyframe, go to the end of the animation, and let's put it down again, like this. And we hit again the keyframe. So now we have a nice animation from a higher view to the bottom, and still the movement. Perfect. All right. So this should be the way how to work with the camera. So work with splines, work with the target, and take care about the animation. I have a lot of problems with the feeling of time. That means, all right, I have a 2 seconds animation now, so it's pretty easy to have a feeling for it. And when you hit the play button, it's really fast. But when you work with a lot of more keyframes, you can, by the way, higher here the keyframes. Let's say we want to have 500, so it's nearly 1 minute, and we can we drag we zoom out the timeline. You have here a lot of numbers, and I lose sometimes the feeling for time. So you need to take care of this, and yeah. Let's stick to the second camera. Let's delete this. And the second camera is basically just the same thing that we have done, but it's already added the target tag. And the easier thing is that you have here a null object. A null object is just a point, but it have nothing included. It's not an object. It's nothing. And when you move now the target, so you can all the time move the target away, so it will follow all the time this particular point. And so yeah, I think I need nothing to explain about it, because it's basically the same thing that we have done. The 3D stereo camera, I never worked with it. It's for 3D videos. I think it's just a normal camera that is just recording in 3D. But yeah, as I said, like I never worked with it. I can't explain you this part, but I think in my tutorials or my projects we will never work with it. And so yeah, let's stick to the last camera. So we position our start of the camera again. We click motion camera. So now you see, oh, what's that? It's a guy holding a camera. All right. That's basically when you have when you record something in real life, you have and you do it from your hand, like a shoulder camera or something, and you move with it, you have movement in the camera. So that means when we take a look at the camera and hit the play button, you see here movement. When you just hit the play button, you see it's shaking really slow, so it's really realistic, because a normal handheld camera is known for his movements. So there's a steady cam, you know, to avoid these movements and stuff. But in cinema, it's pretty cool to have something like this, because you give your animation a touch of reality. So how to work with it? It's also pretty easy. You have a guy here that is holding the camera, and you have a target again, so you can move again the targets pretty easy, like in the past two cameras I showed you. And you have a path spline, so you have already a spline, and this says the guy who is holding the camera where to move. So you see here this white line, and this guy is moving here through the spline. So when we go here to the camera and we choose the motion camera tag, we have here camera position A. So when we move this, you see the guy is walking to the spline or through the spline. So when you want to animate it, we hit again the control button, the control key and the mouse button. Let's say now we have the red dot again, and let's say we go to 60 frames, and we say, all right, you go now to 100% to the end of the spline, and we hit again control and mouse button. So now we go back, and the guy is walking through the spline. So let's take a look from the camera view here. So, and that's it. This is a really nice feature in Cinema 4D. It gives a lot of realistic things to an animation, like when we position out the target here in the text. When we go here, it's not just a steady move. It's pretty nice. So yeah, that's it. That's the magic of animation with the camera. So the same thing works with all objects you want to have. So that means you can, let's say we have a cube here, we create a cube, and we say we go to Cinema 4D text, align to spline, and we go to the top view, just a really small. We just draw a really small spline, let's say like this. We go back to our perspective mode. We see our spline here, the blue one, and we say the cube, all right, you go to this spline or through this spline. So we just drag and drop it again here, and the cube will now move on the spline when we hit the position, when we change the position. And that's it. I mean, everything works like this, and that's for everything. This is like the basic thing for animations. So yeah, all right. See you guys in the next tutorial, and have fun. Be creative. Do some nice animations. Goodbye.